Good morning and welcome to New Hanover County Schools The Morning Show. I'm July Alexander.
And I'm Allie Collins. This is the week of January 12th through January 18th.
Next Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and our show this week is packed with information about his life.
The holiday is officially titled Birthday of Martin Luther King Jr., and it is an American federal holiday. It is observed on the third Monday of January each year, which is around the time of King's birthday, which is January 15th.
President Ronald Reagan signed the holiday into law in 1983. It was first observed 3 years later. At first, some states resisted observing the holiday as such, giving it alternative names or combining it with other holidays. It was officially observed in all 50 states for the first time in the year 2000.
We'll have plenty more on Martin Luther King Jr. throughout the show, including a trivia game and our final segment.
Our show this week, we also feature Career Technical Education Highlight. This month, we take a look at the technical education program and all it has to offer.
And join us on a journey to Costa Rica and destinations. We'll take a look at all the places a visitor should stop and see during a trip to the country.
We also have our morning show feature on inventors. Each month, a different inventor is spotlighted as well as their invention, and today we have a really good one.
We have a packed show, but for now, it's time to swing over to the news desk and our news anchor, Dylan Grace. He is standing by with our first look at your school news headlines. Good morning, Dylan.
Good morning, July and Allie, and welcome everyone to your school news here on The Morning Show. Topping the headlines this week, New Hanover High School holds an elective showcase, Murrayville Elementary receives a check from the Landfall Foundation, and New Hanover County Schools is recruiting pre-kindergarten children for this school year. I will have all those stories and more coming up later in the show.
Thanks. We get to things going today with a staple here on The Morning Show with a segment we call This Week in History. Our Grand Master of Historical Knowledge has the headlines from the past times in This Week in History, brought to you by Kidsville News.
Welcome to This Week in History. I'm your historical host, Stephen Miller, covering all the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is the week of January 12th through the 18th. January 12th, 1879. The British-Zulu War begins as British troops under Lieutenant General Frederick Augustus invade Zululand from the southern African Republic of Natal. January 13th, 1999, National Basketball Association superstar Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls announces his retirement from professional basketball for the second time in front of a crowd at Chicago's United Center. January 14th, 1943, Franklin Roosevelt becomes the first president to travel on official business by airplane, crossing the Atlantic by air. Roosevelt flew to a meeting with Winston Churchill in North Africa. January 15th, 1865, Fort Fisher in North Carolina falls to Union forces, and the Confederacy's most important blockade running port is closed. January 16th, 1970, the seven-time Golden Glove winning center fielder Curt Flood of the St. Louis Cardinals files suit in a federal court against the presidents of the American and National Leagues and all 24 teams in the Major League Baseball organization. Finally, your weekend history tidbits. January 17th, 1953, a prototype Chevrolet Corvette sports car makes its debut at General Motors Auto Show in New York City. The Corvette, named for a fast type of naval warship, would eventually become an iconic American muscle car and remains in production today. January 18th, 1985. For the first time since joining the World Court in 1946, the United States walked out of a case. The case that caused the dynamic walkout concerned U.S. paramilitary activities against the Nicaragua government. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. I'm Stephen Miller. Thanks for stopping by.
This Week in History is brought to you by Kidsville News, a fun and effective learning resource for children, teachers, and parents. It features school news, information, and local community events while promoting literacy and the development of good reading habits, character traits, and study skills in young children. And Kidsville News is always free. Copies are delivered every month to every elementary school in New Hanover County School System.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up This Week in History.
Now don't go away. We'll be right back.
Each year, thousands are senselessly killed by people with no criminal record at all. People like you.
The magical thing about using energy wisely is that anyone can do it. Use energy-saving light bulbs, Energy Smart Power Strips, and turn off computers and game systems when not in use. Get together and make a difference. Learn what you can do at energy.gov/tink.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm July Alexander.
And I'm Allie Collins. With the upcoming Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, we decided to feature him on today's show.
We start with a little information about his early life and beliefs.
Martin Luther King Jr. was born on Tuesday, the 15th of January, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. He was the second child and the first son to Reverend Martin Luther King and Alberta Williams King. He had one sister, Christina, and one brother, Alfred Daniel.
Martin Luther King Jr. was a very bright student and a talented speaker. When he was 19, he graduated from Morehouse College in Atlanta with a bachelor's degree in sociology. In 1951, he graduated from Crozer Technological Seminary with a Bachelor's of Divinity and received his PhD in systematic theology from Boston University in 1955.
Martin Luther King Jr. married Coretta Scott on June 18, 1953. They had 4 children, Yolanda Denise, Martin Luther III, Dexter Scott, and Bernice Albertine.
Drawing inspiration from both his Christian faith and the peaceful teaching of Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. King led a nonviolent movement into the late 1950s and 60s to achieve legal equality for African Americans in the United States.
While others were advocating for freedom by any means necessary, including violence, Martin Luther King Jr. used the power of words and acts to nonviolent resistance such as protest, grassroots organizing, and civil disobedience to achieve seemingly impossible goals.
Martin Luther King Jr. is most well known for his I Have a Dream speech. Along with that, his defining moment, Dr. King had many, many notable achievements. Here are a few of his biggest.
In 1955, Martin Luther King Jr. was recruited to serve as a spokesman for the Montgomery bus boycott, which was a campaign to force integration of the city's bus lines. After 381 days, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that racial segregation in transportation was unconstitutional.
In 1957, Dr. King was elected president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC. This organization was designed to provide new leadership for the rights of burgeoning civil rights movement.
In 1963, he led a coalition of numerous civil rights groups in a nonviolent campaign aimed at Birmingham, Alabama. The subsequent brutality of the city's police, illustrated by television, led to a national outrage, resulting in a push for unprecedented civil rights legislation.
It was during this campaign that Dr. King drafted the letter from a Birmingham jail, the manifesto, Dr. King's Philosophy and Tactics, which is today's required reading in universities worldwide.
Later, in 1963, Dr. King was one of the driving forces behind a March for Jobs and Freedom, more commonly known as the March on Washington. It was at this march that Dr. King delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech.
In 1964, Congress passed the landmark Civil Rights Act, essentially eliminating legalized racial segregation in the United States. The legislation made it illegal to discriminate against blacks or other minorities in hiring, public accommodation, education, or transportation, areas which at the time were still very segregated in many places.
The next year, 1965, Congress went on to pass the Voting Rights Act, which was an equally important set of laws that eliminated the remaining barriers to voting for African Americans. This legislation resulted directly from the Selma to Montgomery March for Voting Rights led by Dr. King.
On April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s less than 13 years of nonviolent leadership ended abruptly and tragically when he was assassinated in the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee.
And those are just a few of the many important moments in Martin Luther King Jr.'s life.
I hope everyone was paying attention because at the end of our show, we'll be competing in a Martin Luther King Jr. trivia game.
For now, let's send it over to the news desk for more of your news.
Good morning and welcome to Your School News on the Morning Show. I'm Dylan Grace. New Hanover High School hosted their annual elective showcase for rising 9th grade students who plan to attend New Hanover High School. This opportunity enables students to make informed choices for course registration as they plan their high school course schedule. With the report on this event is YSN reporter Heather Jensen.
New Hanover High School recently held their annual elective showcase for rising 9th graders. This electrifying event was held to help students and parents make informed and smart choices for course registration. To welcome future 9th graders were ROTC students, Drama Club, and Graphic Arts Club. Taking part in this event was a great opportunity for future high schoolers to get an idea of what to look forward to in their coming years at New Hanover High School.
The theater, I like acting and singing on stage. The band program, I play flute and guitar. I haven't really finished looking at everything else, but those are the only two that have really interested me.
The backbone of the electives showcase were career and technical education courses. CTE gives high school students a chance to get a head start on preparing for college and careers by incorporating academic, creative, and technical skills.
The first level is learning the skills on the Photoshop, and the second level is using those skills and using those designs and printing them out. So like screen printing and printing with a machine and so applying those skills.
Booths were set up and gave students a look into offerings like business info and technology, health occupations, and trade and industrial education. The philosophy behind the showcase was to have freshmen begin looking into future plans. CTE courses are a very good idea in thinking for the future.
They should sign up because colleges love this as a credit. More college opportunities open. Personally, it's not hard. It's just step by step in the book and you get what you have to get done, and 85 or above you get a certificate.
New Hanover High School was very accommodating and informative to the future students, and some even took tours of the school campus. The event left participants with a lot to think about as they planned for their high school years. Reporting for Your School News, this is Heather Jensen.
5th graders at Williams Elementary had an experience that was truly out of this world. It's called Starbase, a program that's enforcing math and science into young minds across North Carolina. and the country in an explosive way. As kids, many of us dreamed about becoming an astronaut when we got older. Students at Williams Elementary got a chance to go up in space by launching rockets and learning so much more. Starbase targets at-risk elementary school students in an attempt to increase interest in math and science. Using team-building activities and a hands-on approach to learning, students become involved in goal-setting strategies and an awareness of the negative effects of drug use. Students and teachers attend the Starbase program for 5 complete days. Teachers also use Starbase-generated material to reinforce learning during regular school days. One of the final projects for students participating at Williams Elementary was the launching of their very own rocket that they had assembled. The entire Starbase week was an exciting and thrilling educational experience. In other news, Murrayville Elementary recently got a very big gift, a check for $6,000 from the Landfall Foundation in support of the school's ongoing efforts to help members of its school's families in need. Called the Acts of Kindness Project, the multiple-week effort aids the families of students at Murrayville with food, clothing, and financial assistance.
A $6,000 grant from the Landfall Foundation, and we are using it for our Acts of Kindness project, which allows us to identify students here at Murrayville whose families are facing hardship, provide them with food, clothing, financial assistance, and other resources in the community also to help build tools to sustain themselves. We have a backpack program. We have a program where we can assist with utilities that may be being disconnected, water, electricity, and our social worker provide counseling to the families to kind of help them get back on their feet again.
Through the Acts of Kindness Project, Murrayville families going through hardships can also get help with utilities like water and electricity. As part of the project, social workers at Murrayville give counseling to families in need so they can get back on their feet. They are also taught tools to sustain themselves. The check from the Landfall Foundation will go to support an extremely important outreach program that keeps families together and children healthy so they can become good students and great members of the community. For all the latest on New Hanover County Schools, join us weekdays at 5:30 p.m. here on Time Warner Cable Channel 5 and Charter Cable Channel 12, Channel 191. For your school news, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County Schools. Now back to our host.
Thanks. The mission of Career Technical Education is to help empower students for effective participation in any international economy as a world-class workers and citizens. They have a wide range of programs offered to both middle school and high school students. Today we take an in-depth look at one of those programs. We traveled to Hoggard High School to learn about the technical education program.
For my students at a second level, you want to kind of raise the stakes in a second level course. You've been through, you've learned the basics. Now, really, how does it apply in a real life situation? This equipment has to work. It's not just something they turn into me for a grade and is never thought of again. It is something that they have to figure out on their own how to build it, the sizes, the dimensions. They have to learn who their clients are. And it has to work. It has to be safe. It has to be functional. It needs to look good. And there really is no alternative. It's not almost as good enough. It has to be just right in order for it to work, to meet the needs of the students that their equipment is being designed for.
We started off just drawing ideas, and I was paired with 2 other students, and we all kind of got together and decided what was the best design that we could use. And from there we built small models, and those were just kind of like to see what we wanted to do, and then we had to build 2 or 3 prototypes. And from there we started doing precise measurements, and we had to get it very precise on the last model.
Cardboard is readily available. Basically all I have to do is take some time and run down to pick up scrap cardboard. If we make mistakes, we haven't lost any money. So it's easily manipulated with just a knife or a pair of scissors. So there's not a great expense involved. The equipment that we design and build for the students typically would cost hundreds or thousands of dollars. So we're meeting a need for our students here at New Hanover and in the county at next to no cost.
I was a little skeptical at first because I'm like, really, cardboard? Is it going to hold up with these kids? So I was like, well, we'll give it a shot because a lot of the stuff we need is very expensive. And rather than being on a waiting list for insurance to pay for some of our equipment, we're like, let's see what they can build us. And if it holds up, then it's great. The children have new seats to sit in and all kinds of things like that. And I was very surprised when we had a floor-seater last over a year.
It was tough. I was kind of skeptical on how we were going to be able to build this equipment to support these kids with just cardboard. And it did take a few prototypes because the measurements would be wrong. We'd have to measure their feet. And it really helped me improve in my skills designing and engineering because how much we had to do to get it just right.
Now, my teacher was great, and he taught us how to cut cardboard, and we found ways to like make it stay. Like you'll put a score in it and then put it together so that it could make a shape or something like that.
The socialization aspect was wonderful because on Fridays, like during the week, they would come over and do the measurements and all that kind of stuff. But then on Friday, they kind of just got to come and chill and watch a movie or play the Wii, bake a snack or do a craft with us. And then both groups loved it and they took to each other very well.
It made it easier for me to make my project because I got to know Claire as well as the other students, but I got to know things she liked and how she needed it, how she needed the desk to be for it to be effective for her. And getting to know them was great. They're all nice kids, and it made me realize a lot of things because they might have special needs, but they are just like us.
I think it made it easier to build their equipment when we interacted with them and came over on Fridays. It was fun just to kind of take off of the work aspect of it and come over here and hang out with them. We watched movies and played Wii and stuff, and it's kind of just less stressful that way.
I love coming in here and interacting with the kids because it helped me see what they needed and how hard it probably is to get what they needed, and for us to come and be a helpful manner to them was good.
Since last year, we've built one piece of equipment per student. This year, we started to expand. One student needed his equipment modified from last year. So basically it was taking what was done last year, making some changes to it, and then those students began working on a project for another student. We had another student who actually ended up with 2 pieces of equipment this semester. We have started expanding our work to other schools in the county. So we've established a relationship with Miss Amber Lee at Holly Shelter and her students, where we're building 2 pieces of equipment for her kids there.
I've learned that almost anything can be made and anything is possible when you design it right and you put a lot of time and effort into it.
I like how we were able to give them something that would probably take a while to get because it's so expensive. So I do plan on, as long as I'm in Hanover, to work with the students and make anything I can make to help them.
If you would like to learn more about the Microsoft Academy program or any of the New Hanover County Schools CTE programs, visit the website at www.nhcs.net/workforce or call their office at 254-4241.
Now don't go away. This rip-roaring edition of the morning show will continue right after this break. But before we go to our trivia question of the day.
The Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded annually since 1901 to, and I quote, those who have done most or best work for a fraternity between nations, for the abolition or reduction of standing armies, and for holding the promotion of peace congresses.
Martin Luther King Jr. had many significant accomplishments during his life, including winning a Nobel Peace Prize. Today, our trivia question asks, In what year did Martin Luther King Jr. win a Nobel Peace Prize? A, 1958, B, 1968, C, 1969, D, 1971.
We'll have the answer when we return.
Who was president? The years 1889 through 1893. He was the only president who was the grandson of an earlier president. He approved the highly protective McKinley Tariff Act. And the first Pan American Conference was held during his administration. If you guessed Benjamin Harrison, you're right. He was the 23rd President of the United States. This presidential pop quiz has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network, Time Warner Cable Channel 5.
Properly inflating my tires burns less fuel and saves me money on gas. Yeah, I'm saving Mother Nature from pollution, but more importantly, she saved me $11. Ow!
Environmental defense. Get green.
By keeping my car regularly tuned, I save money on gas and repairs. That also means cleaner air. You know, feels good to help save the cash, planet.
Environmental defense. Get green. For more tips, go to getgreen.com.
Welcome back to the morning show. Next Monday, January 19th, is the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday.
When Martin Luther King Jr. won the Nobel Peace Prize, the chairman of the Nobel Committee said in his speech, "He is the first person in the Western world to have shown us that a struggle can be waged without violence. He is the first to make this message of brotherly love a reality in the course of his struggle, and he has brought this message to all men, to all nations and races."
Today, our trivia question asks, in what year did Martin Luther King Jr. win a Nobel Peace Prize? A, 1958, B, 1964, C, 1969, or D, 1971? And the correct answer is B, 1964. At 35 years old, Martin Luther King Jr. became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize.
His acceptance speech in Oslo is thought by many to be among the most powerful remarks ever delivered at the event, climaxing at one point with the oft-quoted phrase, "I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. This is why right, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil triumphant."
Those are some really powerful words.
Indeed. Changing gears now, we look at a different moment in history. Archaeologists study past human life and culture through the recovery and examination of remaining material evidence. Using artifacts, inscriptions, monuments, and other remains, they paint a picture of the past. In many cases, that picture tells a story. We have one of those amazing stories from our friends at the Archaeology Channel. This week, they take us to Hawaii, where we learn about a unique restoration project.
Restoration projects come in many different varieties, as you'll see in our next item from the island of Molokai in Hawaii. By Hawaiian standards, Molokai is fairly remote and undeveloped. Back in the 1860s, Hawaiians with Hansen's disease, better known as leprosy, were forced into quarantine at the colony of Kalaupapa on the island's north shore. It was in operation for about a century. Today, that place is managed by the National Park Service as Kalaupapa National Historical Park. Its centerpiece is a wooden structure called Pasquale Hall. We thank the U.S. Forest Service for sending us this video on the work that has been done to preserve this building for future generations.
Kalaupapa, Hawaii is one of those rare places where the history that began in the 1860s is still alive today. This place has a story to tell that will become even more compelling with time. Located on the rugged north shore of Molokai, the peninsula was home to native Hawaiians for nearly 800 years. Archaeological sites in the form of walls, temples, houses, and fishing shelters are evidence of a once thriving culture. Life changed dramatically here in 1866. The sheer sea cliffs and pounding ocean made this volcanic tongue an inescapable place to isolate Hawaiians who had contracted Hansen's disease, better known as leprosy. Hansen's disease had reached almost epidemic levels among the Hawaiian people. Those were frightening times, both for those afflicted and for those who came forward as kakua, or helpers. One person who courageously stepped forward was a Catholic priest from Belgium named Father Damien de Veuster. He devoted the rest of his life to improving the conditions of the people exiled to this place. Over the years, some 8,000 patients were sent to Kalaupapa. History continues to live on here. Built in 1916, Paschal Hall is the largest structure in the community. Until the early 1960s, it was the center for social gatherings and a wide variety of entertainment. Because of its special meaning to residents, Paschal Hall was chosen for a major historic preservation project. It presented a daunting challenge because of its size and state of deterioration. The work has been divided into 4 phases. The first phase began in March 1998 and addressed the serious termite damage to the structural members of the building. The huge hall was jacked up, and the damaged sill plates, structural columns, interior diagonal bracing, and roof trusses were repaired or replaced. The second phase involved replacing the deteriorated composition shingle roof. This was complicated by its sheer size and the fact that it was so cut up by hips, valleys, and additions. The new roof, now covered with wood cedar shingles, appears as it did in 1916. The third phase will be to restore the exterior sidewalls, windows, doors, ornamental detailing, and to repaint the outside to its original paint color. Phase 4 will be to restore the interior, the walls, and the ceiling. The benefits of this restoration work are twofold. Paschal Hall will continue to help tell the story of Kalaupapa, and Park Service employees will have gained new skills and confidence. The skills and confidence gained from Paschal Hall will be put to good use within the community. Almost all the buildings in Kalaupapa were constructed from 1900 to the 1960s. Most were built in the Hawaiian plantation style, a style that is becoming scarce and more valuable as an historic resource. They all need some type of preservation work.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that interesting story from the Archaeology Channel. We'll feature another great story next month here on The Morning Show.
All right, it's time now for this week's lunch menu. This is the menu for Monday, January 12th through Monday, January 19th.
On Monday, January 12th, sit down with your friends and enjoy either creamy chicken chowder with a roll and crackers or a scrumptious beef taco with Spanish rice, or a delightful cheeseburger for lunch. Complete your awesome meal by adding barbecue pinto beans, a garden salad, and a frozen fruit cup to your plate.
Then, on Tuesday, January 13th, awaken your taste buds with a flavor-packed chicken Parmesan sandwich or grilled cheese sandwich, or go to the French Bread Bar. Also on the menu are vegetable soup, a garden salad, and fresh fruit.
On Wednesday, January 14th, energize your body and mind with grilled chicken sandwich, cheesy breadsticks, or orange chicken with rice. Keep the good stuff coming as you add a glazed sweet potatoes, separindis garden salad, and diced peppers to your plate to make a fantastic meal.
On Thursday, January 15th, feast like royalty on nachos grande, fish sticks, or popcorn chicken. Accompany your afternoon meal with a cornbread muffin, black bean or corn salad, sweet potato waffle fries, a garden salad, and fresh fruit.
Then, on Friday, January 16th, end the week with one of these savory entrees to choose from: a tasty pizza slice, a yummy cheeseburger, or a deluxe chicken sandwich. After that, stack up all the sides of macaroni salad, French fries, garden salad, and mixed fruit.
Finally, on Monday, January 19th, enjoy your day as we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. holiday.
And there you have the lunch menu for the week.
Don't forget, you can also start your day with a healthy breakfast and at school.
It's time for our travel segment, Destination. Each month we feature a different travel destination and highlight unique features on what we like to do and see. Live vicariously through this segment or take notes and plan your next vacation. The choice is yours, but either way, join us as we head off to Costa Rica.
Looking for an exotic place to vacation in Central America? Today we feature a place that is safe, exciting, and will not overwhelm your wallet. Costa Rica, a small mountainous country with tree-lined tropical beaches and friendly locals known as ticos, is the destination for you. Located between Panama and Nicaragua, the tropical climate is great for a visit any time of the year. Costa Rica has over 620 miles of beaches, some preserved as nature intended, while others feature resorts to pamper you all day long. Along with all the beaches, Costa Rica features 9 active volcanoes, forested mountains, jungles teeming with life, and is considered one of the most peaceful nations as it does not have a standing army. Costa Rica enjoys 6% of the world's biodiversity in climates and unique environmental regions. Tropical plants are on display at the Lancaster Gardens, and butterflies inhabit a garden near the La Paz waterfall. Costa Rica is also home to many national parks, where you can view the sheer beauty of the country. In famous Manuel Antonio National Park, one can see beautiful rainforests and mangroves while being accessible to postcard-quality white sand beaches surrounded by coral coves. 9 active volcanoes include the Irazu volcano, with a desolate landscape that looks like the surface of the moon, and Paus Mammoth, with a boiling sulfurous lake. Arenal, the most active of all of Costa Rica's volcanoes, booms and rumbles with an unnerving consistency, with nocturnal pyrotechnics. Popular island tours from seaside to volcano cliffs are offered by Talc Bridges, Disney, and Brendan Vacations. Costa Rica is also considered one of the best surfing countries in the world. Popular and family-friendly surf beaches with great waves inhabit the Guanacaste area of northern Costa Rica. And for the really thrill-craving traveler, you can go on crocodile watching tours on a river in Jaco and see your guide play with crocodiles. While visiting Costa Rica, you will be exposed to some of the most flavorful cuisine you'll ever taste. The fresh fruit is absolutely amazing and much different than you would normally find at your local market. Also, the accessibility to delicious fresh fish is a great asset to Costa Rica. Many find ceviche, a local fish dish, to be extremely tasty. Costa Rica is definitely a place you should consider for your next vacation. It will be an experience the entire family can enjoy and will make memories that will last a lifetime.
For more information on a trip to Costa Rica, you can visit the website www.visitcostarica.com.
Join us next month and we'll feature another sensational destination.
Now, as we head to a break, we have our Future of Inventors.
This segment was written, produced, and edited by Hoggard High School senior Luke Williams.
This week, we learn all about Alicia Otis, inventor of the elevator.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Elijah G. Otis, the man who invented the elevator, was born on August 3, 1811, in the United States. He grew up in Halifax, Vermont, and when he was 19 years old, he moved to Brattleboro to find work. There, he learned to be a mechanic, making carriages and wagons. In 1838, he moved to Albany, New York, and got a good job as a master mechanic at a bedstead factory. It was fairly stable and paid good money, so he moved the rest of his family there as well. While he was there, he invented a railway safety brake and the other devices that would help him make beds. In 1852, Otis was sent to operate a new factory and install its machinery. There, he designed and installed a safety hoist on lifting machines. The next year, he quit his job and started a little elevator shop. He sold his first elevator in 1853 for lifting freight. He continued to sell a few elevators until he performed a famous demonstration. In May of 1854, at the Crystal Palace in New York City, he demonstrated his elevator and braking system by riding the platform high in the air and ordering the rope cut. Everyone was amazed. On March 23, 1857, he installed the first safety elevator for passenger service. In 1861, Elijah Otis patented the steam power elevator and installed the first one in 1862. Besides inventing the safety elevator, he also patented railroad car trucks brakes, the steam plow, and the bake oven. He then died on April 8th, 1861, but will forever be remembered as the man who invented the modern elevator.
Want your kids to eat good food? Send them to the school cafeteria. They'll find fresh fruit, vegetables, and whole grains.
Research shows that school lunches are healthier and cost less than most lunches brought from home.
School meals are served in age-appropriate portion sizes and meet federal nutrition standards as well.
Sure, we still serve pizza with low-fat cheese, whole wheat crust, and salad. Want your kids to eat good food? Send them to their school cafeteria.
A message from the Child Nutrition Foundation.
I propose 3 cheers for those we leave behind.
Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations. Proud of you. All right. Ensign Elliott. Who's going to salute him? Guys, who gets to salute him first?
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm July Alexander. Today we have a special edition of The Buzz. The Buzz is our entertainment report covering books, movies, music, and video games. Each week, our reporters review and recommend a selection for you to enjoy. This week's host, Dylan Grace, covers 5 family-friendly DVDs that are being released at the beginning of this year.
Welcome to your January edition of The Buzz. We kick off the new year with a host of must-watch family-friendly DVD releases just right for 2015. First on our list is Dinosaur 13. When Peter Larson and his team of paleontologists unearthed the largest, most intact Tyrannosaurus rex fossil ever, they didn't know what to expect. The last thing they thought would happen is a 5-year custody battle between the paleontologists and the federal government, who claimed that the fossil was taken from federal land. Join the paleontologists as they fight for the right to the greatest archaeological discovery in this based on a true story tale. Second on the list is The Identical. Marvel at this alternate history story where Elvis Presley's twin brother survived birth but had to be put up for adoption as his parents couldn't afford 2 children. The brothers grow up not knowing about each other but end up meeting each other as they both grow up into talented musicians. The story follows Elvis's brother Ryan as he tries to obey his father's wishes of becoming a preacher and following his own dreams of becoming a musician. This new year, enjoy this Dead Poets Society style story. Next on the list is The Scorpion King 4: Quest for Power. Enjoy this sequel of a prequel of a spin-off of a remake where the Scorpion King Matthias fights for peace in his land against powerful enemies. Watch this action-packed thriller when it comes out this January. Coming in at number 4 is Justice League: Throne of Atlantis. Join the Justice League on their journey to save the surface world from evil undersea dwellers. Led by Ocean Master and Black Manta, the citizens of Atlantis attack the surface, and the Justice League must stop them. And last but not least is The Box Trolls. Find a new favorite animated film as you travel with main character Eggs. Eggs was raised by underground trolls and now must save them as an exterminator has been hired to remove them. Will Egg be able to help his friends keep their homes? I guess you'll have to watch and find out. That's it for your family-friendly DVDs of January. See you next time.
Thanks for that great list of movies, Dylan. Now everyone can start their year off with a friendly, family-friendly movie night at home. So pop some popcorn, turn out the lights, and crowd into your couch while you enjoy one of these recommendations.
It's time now for more Your School News on the morning show. Let's send it back over to our news anchor.
Thank you, July and Allie, and welcome everyone to Your School News here on the morning show. New Hanover County Schools is recruiting pre-kindergarten children for the school year of 2014 through 2015. Children who live in New Hanover County and children who are 4 years old on or before August 31st, 2014 are eligible to apply. Children with special needs and disabilities are encouraged to apply.
Well, pre-kindergarten is key to school readiness skills, and we do lots of prepping for all of those requirements for kindergarten. Socially and emotionally development for your child, exposure with other children, how we learn how to play with one another, daily routines are established, environmental print, all of those key elements to a successful kindergarten, and just the exposure and the environment. We have licensed BK teachers that follow a curriculum that is aligned with kindergarten, and just the exposure of being in a school, in a pre-kindergarten setting.
When applying, parents or guardians should bring the child's birth certificate, social security card, and up-to-date immunization record, along with either a Medicaid, Health Choice, or insurance card. In addition, you'll need proof of New Hanover County residency, which can be a current property tax statement or current signed lease agreement. Income verification is required, as parent guardian picture ID, and if necessary, guardianship papers. Applications can be picked up at the Health Department, DSS, Dale K. Spencer Complex, Community Boys and Girls Club, and Smart Start. You can also find an application online at the New Hanover County Schools website. Click on Early Childhood Department. Completed applications need to be brought to or mailed to New Hanover County Schools Administration Building, Early Childhood Education Program, 6410 Carolina Beach Road. Dr. Robert Malkin, Professor of Biomedical Engineering, Director of the Developing World Healthcare Technology at Duke University, and Director for the Global Public Service Academy in Belize and Guatemala, presented the Global Public Service Academies and Biomedical Engineering, How to Supercharge Your Medical Career, to Laney and New Hanover High School students. I have an exciting report on this. The Global Public Service Academies were founded with an understanding that students from high school can make a difference in the world. That was the message presented to the students at Laney and New Hanover High Schools by Dr. Robert Malkin, Director of the Developing World Healthcare Technology Laboratory at Duke University. Through the presentation, students learned that all of the Global Service Academies take place in the developing world, formed around an educational collaboration with faculty from Duke University, Harvard University, and other universities around the country. This opportunity to work with the U.S. faculty in an international setting allows students to learn and contribute in ways that a domestic summer camp or volunteer experience can't.
Well, I was very surprised at the amount of malfunctions that the equipment had in these other countries, and that kind of piqued my interest in that I would love to go over and help those people. I already have an interest in biomedical engineering. That's something I would like to pursue as a major. So I think that it's amazing that these clinical engineers can have such an amazing effect in fixing one machine and helping thousands of people.
There's a large division and difference between some of the poorer countries and the wealthier countries, and how important medical engineering and all that is to the poorer countries, and what we do in the United States and other places is so critical and important to those other places.
Dr. Malkin also shared his personal experiences and the roles they played in his career. He told the students how he taught English in Thailand, worked at EM Microelectronics in Switzerland designing integrated circuits, and worked for Cordis Corporation designing pacemakers and designing heart-lung machines. He told the students that they too could be a part of the growing biomedical engineering work, and that GPSA was a great first step. He explained that they would receive training and then put that training to the test in rural clinics or directly in a community.
Yeah, so GPSA is about 100 spots a year open for high school students, of which about 50% are American, 50% are not. It's not a number that I try to recruit from each school. I'm trying to look for the students who are truly passionate about engineering, science, medical field, and making a difference.
At both Laney and New Hanover, students left excited about the opportunity to help children, adults, and the aged achieve an improved quality of life through effective healthcare. At the time, involvement in GPSA would help them jumpstart an amazing career in the medical profession. Reporting for Your School News, this is Dylan Grace. Finally, recycling is a big deal to one teacher at Castle Hayne Elementary School. Michael Jeffries, second grade teacher and North Carolina Wolfpack fan, rescued over 1,000 NC State fan cups before they found themselves in the landfill. Then, along with his UNCW intern and his students, they built some amazing NC State holiday trees. Recycling takes on so many unique concepts, and is much easier than people think. Today, Pinterest offers countless items on how you can use things in a brand new way to keep them out of the landfill. Solo Cup holiday trees are just one example of that recycling craft. Best of all, before Castle Hayne students leave for the winter break, each student will be able to take a completely clean cup home. That's all for now. To watch this week's edition of Your School News online, visit the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and click on the NHCS TV logo on the homepage. Now back over to July and Allie.
Thanks, Dylan. Now to end today's show with a fun yet educational game.
That's right, July. It is time for us to compete in the morning show's Martin Luther King Jr. Trivia Challenge.
Exciting. Let's send it back over to Dylan, who will explain the rules. Welcome back, Dylan.
Thank you, July and Allie. Here are the rules. I will ask each of you a question about Martin Luther King Jr., many of which we have talked about today. You will each get 8 questions. If you get it right, you get a point. However, if you miss your question, then the other person gets a chance to steal it. To make things interesting, the last question will be true or false. Since you each get the same number of questions, we'll start with you, July. Okay, contestants, are you ready? Here we go. All right. In which city was Martin Luther King Jr. born? July. Yeah.
Do I get choices?
Oh, yeah. A, Atlanta, B, Albany, C, Austin, or D, Annapolis?
A.
You're correct. All right. Allie, how old was King when he was assassinated? A, 38, B, 39, C, 40, or D, 42?
38.
That's incorrect. July?
39.
That is correct. July's taking a bit of a lead. And it's her question. So, July, what year was King assassinated? 1978, 1968, 1958, or 1959?
Can you say the answer choices one more time? Sorry.
1978, 1968.
68.
That is correct. All right. Allie. In 1964, King won a prestigious prize. Which one was it? The Pulitzer Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, the Freedom Award, or the Congressional Medal of Honor?
The Nobel Peace Prize.
That is correct. All right. July. Whose techniques did King usually follow?
Gandhi.
Doesn't need choices. That is correct. All right. Allie. King led an important protest against what on April 3rd, 1968? A, slavery, B, poverty, C, discrimination, or D, starvation in India?
C.
That is incorrect.
Can you say the answer choices?
A, slavery, B, poverty, C, discrimination, or D, starvation in India?
B?
That is correct.
What?
All right. July? Yeah, July.
Yeah, I think.
What does SCLC stand for? Southern Christian Leadership Council.
That one.
You're not going to let me read the...
I'm sorry, go ahead. You know what, go ahead and finish.
No, you got it right. All right. Allie, what was the first civil rights action King was involved in? A, a March on Washington. B, I Have a Dream speech. C, Montgomery bus boycott. Or D, leading a march against on Washington?
March on Washington.
That is incorrect.
It's C.
It is C. It's the Montgomery bus boycott. All right, July, your turn. Martin Luther King told people, which of the following? A, fight back only if needed. B, white people would be punished by God. C, that racial equality was all about economics. Or D, none of the above.
None of the above.
That is correct. All right, Allie. What inspired King to help the fight for civil rights? A, the killing of civil rights workers. B, he needed a cause for his ministry. C, he saw injustice and segregation. Or D, his wife encouraged him.
C.
That is correct.
Thank God.
All right, July. What church did King become the pastor of? A, Ebenezer Baptist Church of Atlanta. B, Lutheran Church of Alabama. C, Catholic Church of Alabama. Or D, Baptist Church of Alabama.
Oh God. B?
That is incorrect.
D.
That is also incorrect.
Oh.
The correct answer was A, the Ebenezer Baptist Church of Atlanta.
Wow.
All right, so Allie, what does CORE mean? A, the Core of Racial Equality. B, the Congress of Racial Equality. C, the Center of Rehabilitation Experts. Or D, Control of Racial Equality.
D.
That is incorrect. July?
Oh God. A?
That is also incorrect. The correct answer was B, the Congress of Racial Equality.
Wow.
Running out of questions. All right. Whose turn is it?
Mine.
Yeah, yours. All right, July. What does NAACP stand for? A, the National Athletic Association of College Players. B, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. C, National Association of All Christian People. Or D, the National Acceptance of Colored People.
D?
That is incorrect.
B.
That is correct. All right, Allie. What age did King enter Morehouse College? A, 21, B, 22, C, 15, or D, 16?
16.
That is correct. All right. July. King knew his life was going to be cut short. True or false?
True.
That is correct. All right, and our last question for Allie. King used force to get his point across. True or false?
True.
That is incorrect.
False.
July?
False.
All right, that's all the question, and it looks like July is our winner. Congratulations, July.
Good game, Allie.
You too, July.
Well, that does it for this edition of The Morning Show.
For the best TV of all, each and every day, keep it tuned right here for New Hanover County Schools TV on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Have a great day.
And a wonderful week.